All right, so we are going to film the garden tour, and we're gonna do things a little bit differently today. We are gonna split this video up into two. So we are going to go through the bucket garden, which is behind me, as well as the herb table that I have. And then we're going to do a separate tour of the raised beds. The bucket tour will be posted on Fridays, and then the raised bed tour will be posted on Mondays. Our little lime tree who's struggling with a little bit of scale. This pepper here has a ton of buds. Oh, and there is a pepper. This tomato is kind of off on his own, but he is starting to bear more fruit. Pesky little bird damage, I believe. Oh, on this one too. Man, that might actually be a hornworm. All right, we definitely may need to come out here with a black light. Something is gotten a hold of these guys. This is our cherry bell pepper, and we did realize that you do want to make sure you do not eat these guys until they are ripe. None of these are turning red quite yet. We have two other recently transplanted peppers here. So they are going to be a little bit smaller, not quite budding yet. It looks like this guy's got some flowers. Another recently transplanted guy. And then here we've got pretty big pepper on there. These are a unique pepper called the white devil's tongue. Too spicy for me to eat, but Man of an Hour says that they have a very bright flavor. So not super wrinkly, but definitely too hot for me. Our poblanos, we moved next to each other, and you can see some little poblano buds. And then on our second poblano over here, you can also see, and these are incredibly tall peppers in comparison to that guy right there. You have some sort of something going on with the leaf here. Not sure what it is, but he is still producing, so we're not too worried about it. As we continue our way down Pepper Alley, we actually moved to where all of our Jimmy Nordellos will be near each other. So here's Jimmy Nordellos, some more Jimmy Nordellos, we believe. Now these are a little bit of a different shape, so they may not be, but that's what we think they are for right now. Not starting to blush or turn red here yet. Again, with that really curly one, that is very characteristic of a Jimmy Nordello. Some over here as well. Lots of fruits in here. Hoping this guy will start blushing soon. Got a little pepper here. He was transplanted not too long ago. He's got a lot of little flowers. Starting to get his first pepper there. Jimmy Nordello pepper. So once these turn red and we have a taste, we'll know for sure. This is one of our Fresnos, and there is a Fresno. We picked those red Fresnos off. He's got a lot starting to come up from the top. Lots of little Fresnos. This may also be a Jimmy Nordello, but we're not certain yet. We did save a lot of seeds from Jimmy Nordellos, so no surprise there. This is that Thai chili I'm always talking about, how much I dislike, but I do like the way it grows, how the peppers are kind of growing upwards there. I think that is really quite neat. Let's see if I can show you guys this. It is growing like a backward starfish almost. So we aren't sure if these are Brazilian starfish. They could also be Mad Hatters. We saved a lot of seeds from those last year, but the Mad Hatters did not grow this way. But both of these plants right here have a bunch of these little blossoms growing upwards, but also a lot fatter on the edge. So that's a unique look for a pepper. Both of these plants are the same. We did try to sort the peppers, all the Jimmy Nordellos in one section, and then the Thai pepper over there. These two peppers, which are the same. Look right here. You can see it. That is a Trinidad scorpion. So he has a couple of fruits on him, and he's actually got one that looks incredibly gnarly. Look at that guy. Nope, I do not want to eat that. So I'm actually kind of afraid to touch even those little blossoms. Look how mean that thing looks. So little, yet I just know that it could hurt. So this is our larger Trinidad scorpion, and he's got a lot of buds on him and a lot of flowers. What are you do with super hots. You can't just pop them in your mouth and eat them. On our second one, which you can see is a lot smaller, but he does have a pepper, 2 peppers on him. Look at those butts. I may be burning my finger. A big size difference between the two, but both are producing peppers. This is my Tomatillo plants. And I do actually need to get these guys into a cage, but I haven't done that yet. It's got some flowers on it. I don't see any little tomatillos coming out quite yet. Kale that got eaten up by hornworms recently, which I kind of don't mind the hornworms being on the kale, because then that means they're not on the tomatoes, but you can see hornworm poop everywhere, all over it. Thorny blackberry, our sunflower, which y'all know these are 2 of my favorites. We were gonna get rid of them, but I just think they are beautiful, so I don't want to get rid of them yet. A pepper up here in front, got a lot of little buds forming on him, and I moved my onions. This is actually a bag that we use for chives. I got that idea from a YouTuber who I'll link down below. They got dehydrated, so I had to put them over here. We got some tomato starts and also a few more pepper starts. Pepper starts up there. Blackberry bush. Getting a lot more berries on it. Some of these start to get a little bit darker. You can see they are starting to ripen. Here is my sweet potato pot. You can tell it is pretty dry, so I will go ahead and add some water to that later today. Our fig, and I don't think he's got any figs on him yet. He is getting a lot of new growth though, so this is our first year growing a fig, and this is a little plant. Don't think we'll see any figs from him yet. This is our green bean, and I think it's getting a little hot for him. Also, something attacked this guy. I have an idea of what it might be. There may be some little peas coming out there, but he looks like he kind of got tore up. Here is the pickling cuke that I just recently transplanted, and I wasn't certain that that was going to get any larger, and looky there. So he's got quite a few cukes coming out, and he is able to get a little bit larger now that I've moved him into a bucket and out of his small container. Look at this guy. So no idea what he is, but look at those pods. Some kind of bean of some kind, but I don't know what kind, but those pods are incredibly long. Curious to see if they get any fatter. Kind of just giving them some time to keep on growing. Over here at Man of an Hour's powdery mildew cuke, he's got a couple of odd-shaped cukes forming. There's one. There's another. That one looks like a squash. This guy's starting to get some powdery mildew, so we do need to kind of clean off his leaves. He's also got some ants, it looks like, but I see a pickle. It's a cucumber, but I call it a pickle. I see people sometimes wondering what everyone uses as a trellis. So we do have an A-frame trellis for our cucumbers, but then we also have 2 dog crates, one of which one of my dogs destroyed, the other my dog outgrew. And so we have this dog crate here that we kind of let the cucumbers climb onto. So this one, he is climbing, and I just moved this out today, and you can already see he's starting to wrap around. I think it's really cool how cucumbers do that. Let's see. Ooh, a big one. Probably ready to harvest that guy before he gets too bitter. Got some others coming in. Another big one. Want to harvest that guy. We did make some pickles this week. That was a whole lot of fun. But these guys do get hot really quickly, and they take a lot of water. So we always got to try to make sure that we're getting this guy the water that he needs. The accidental tomato of Man of an Hour's. Right now it still only has 1 tomato on it, but we are kind of letting it go and giving it all the space it needs. This kale also got attacked by hornworms, and you can see the hornworm poop kind of all over it. One of the paste tomatoes we moved over here. Let this be a little bit more of a tomatoey space, and he's actually starting to lean over, so I need to get him a larger stake. He's also got quite a few sets of tomatoes. This is Man of an Hour's black crumb tomato, and you'll notice you see one that is blushing back there. Unfortunately, it got attacked by a bird. I don't want to pull it quite yet. We will pull it later, but this one was beautiful, large, blushing, and did get attacked by a bird. Also, some more little bird bites here. So we are likely going to get a cage set up so that some of these other really large ones don't get attacked by a bird. This one is spotty, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if that's a sign of disease. You'll notice spots kind of all over his branches. So being a little cautious with this guy. There was a small situation where he didn't get as much water as he needed. Man of an hour thought he was dead. That could be just some plant stress there. Still growing, not blushing too much yet. Next we have my sun gold cherry tomato, and I did get him strapped up, but during the process of strapping him up, we lost a couple branches. So I'll show you what I did with those to let the fruits ripen. Again, this one got some bird damage, but this one is perfectly ripe. I do want to show y'all that I do eat these now. I've been coming out pretty regularly and kind of just popping them in my mouth. I don't make a face. I like them. We've got some more fruits and some fruits growing up. We did lose quite a few fruits when we were tying him up. I have taken some of their stems. If I lost the plant, taken some of their stems, put them in some water, and I'm kind of letting them ripen over here. Cherry tomatoes, I'm realizing you kind of have to feel to tell when they're done. But these are just kind of sitting here. They're still getting a little bit of water, but also the tomatoes are kind of ripening up. This guy feels almost ready, so I'll probably eat him tomorrow. You can see that I put a lot of the sun gold stems over here, and the stems are absolutely not thriving, but I have been kind of just coming out here, taking the little tomatoes off, popping them in my mouth. They have a really unique flavor when they're smaller, and they're doing a really good job of ripening even in this condition. Also ripening in our hydroponic area is this paste tomato. And these are the hydroponic tomatoes. Now they are sitting directly in the sun. You can see that they're not getting as much nutrients because they don't have soil. So one thing I'm noticing is I am noticing that I'm getting some sun scalding on these guys, which makes sense because they are in direct sun. Probably going to be putting up a shade cloth or something like that for these guys. Here's some big tomatoes. I believe these are the same large tomatoes that I've got in one of the beds. And they're not doing as well. This was a fasciated blossom. They're not doing as well as the non-hydro ones, but it is all an experiment. This cherry tomato is producing like crazy. Some of these are starting to ripen up quite beautifully. Yeah, it's hot. It's really hot. You can probably tell on my face. But that's okay, we're gonna keep going. Here we've got the Swiss chard. We've taken him out of the sun, but I wanted him by the tomatoes because he tends to attract caterpillars and hornworms. And I transplanted this big rainbow tomato, as well as this tomato, and unfortunately I don't know what he is because the ink on his name tag faded. So I went to a farmer's market and a new nursery last week and picked up quite a few new herbs, so the herb table has grown exponentially. Here is Cuban oregano. It has variegated leaves, and I think it's awesome, and I put him in this big pot. He's already flowering. His flavor hasn't seemed to change any. Beautiful leaves. Lemon mint. We're gonna build a different area for our herb garden. That's why you'll see these containers are like the ones you can put on a ledge. The chocolate mint has really started reaching out. It's got some long stems. And then I believe we've just got a common mint back there behind him. Our rosemary is currently kind of overshadowed right now by the parsley. And I'm not sure what's going on with the parsley actually. He's leaning quite a bit. And then we have our sage here. I've seen a ton of pollinators on this sage. Here is our citronella, which has not stopped me from getting bug bites everywhere. Our lavender. The dill has become overrun by oregano. And our hot and spicy oregano. Got some onion flowers drying here. I'm hoping to save seeds from those guys. Finishes up our bucket garden tour, but I am gonna go ahead and shoot the garden bed tour and post that as a separate video.